Commander Zethkar adjusted his ceremonial battle crest as the sleek hegemony dreadnought Crimson Talon descended through the atmosphere of the third planet in the Sol system. Below them sprawled a blue-green world that their scouts had reported as barely worth conquering. Primitive bipeds who had only recently achieved rudimentary spaceflight. "Sir," reported Lieutenant Vexthy from the sensor station, "we're detecting massive energy signatures from the planet's surface. The primitives appear to be celebrating." Zethkar's mandibles clicked in amusement. Of course they are. They've probably never seen a proper warship before. They think we're here for some sort of diplomatic visit. He gestured dismissively with one of his forearms. "Deploy the flags of conquest across their major population centers. Let them see the crimson banner of the hegemony before we begin the subjugation." The massive ship settled into a low orbit, its weapon systems powered but not yet targeting. This was supposed to be a routine conquest, the kind they used to train new officers. The humans had been observed for months and the assessment was clear. Fragmented governments, primitive weapons, and no unified defense force worth mentioning. Across Earth's major cities, enormous hegemony flags unfurled from hovering drones, blood-red banners emblazoned with the three-clawed fist of Dominion. In New York, London, Tokyo, Mumbai, Sao Paulo, and dozens of other metropolises, the flags cast long shadows over the streets below. "Sir," Vexthy's voice carried a note of confusion. "I'm reading some unusual activity from the planet's surface. Multiple launches detected, but they're not missiles. What are they then?" "Unknown, sir. Small craft, moving at considerable velocity toward our position." Zethkar leaned forward in his command throne. Through the viewport he could see tiny streaks of light ascending from the planet below. As they drew closer, he realized what he was looking at. Single-seat fighters, their hulls gleaming with an efficiency that made his seasoned warrior's instincts twitch. The lead fighter opened a communication channel. The voice that emerged was calm, almost conversational. "Unknown vessel, this is Colonel Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. You have 15 minutes to remove your flags and depart our system. This is your only warning." Zethkar's laughter boomed through the bridge. "Did this primitive just threaten us? Our intelligence reports indicated they barely had a unified military." "Sir," the tactical officer's voice was tight, "I'm reading energy signatures from those fighters that don't match our projections. These aren't primitive craft. Impossible. Open all channels, let me address these insects directly." The main screen flickered to life, showing the interior of the lead fighter's cockpit. The human pilot looked impossibly young, her dark hair pulled back beneath a sleek helmet. But her eyes, Zethkar had seen those eyes before in the gaze of apex predators on a dozen worlds. "Little human," he began, his voice dripping with condescension. "I am Commander Zethkar of the Hegemony Third Fleet. You will submit to our authority, or—" "14 minutes," the pilot interrupted, checking something on her display. "Also, just so you know, those flags you dropped, we're taking that personally." The communication cut off. "Sir," Vexthy called out, panic creeping into his voice. "Massive energy spike detected from the planet's surface. Something's launching. Something big." Through the viewport, Zethkar watched in growing alarm as sleek warships emerged from what his sensors had identified as civilian spaceports. These weren't crude chemical rockets or primitive fusion drives. These ships moved with the deadly grace of born predators, their hull designs optimized for combat in ways that spoke of centuries of warfare. "How many ships are we detecting?" he demanded. "Over 300, sir. And they're fast. Faster than our escorts." The lead fighter pilot's voice crackled over the comm again. 5 minutes left. You might want to start collecting those flags." "Impossible," Zethkar snarled. "Our intelligence clearly indicated—" "Your intelligence was looking at our vacation planets." Colonel Chen's voice carried a note of grim amusement. "Earth isn't our homeworld, Commander. It's where we go to relax." The bridge fell silent except for the hum of ship systems and the increasingly frantic beeping of proximity alarms. "Sir," the tactical officer whispered, "I'm detecting weapon systems on those ships that are theoretically impossible. Energy matrices I've never seen before." "Where are they from?" Zethkar demanded. "What system?" "Unknown, sir. The energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases." Colonel Chen's fighter now hung directly in front of the bridge viewport, close enough that Zethkar could see her making a gesture with one finger that, while alien, somehow conveyed her sentiment perfectly clearly. "Time's up," she announced. "You can leave now, or we can show you why the galactic neighborhood has been so quiet lately." Around Earth's orbit, the human fleet spread out in a formation that was both beautiful and terrifying. Zethkar realized with growing horror that his dreadnought was surrounded by ships whose weapon signatures were off the scale. "Sir," Vexthi's voice was barely audible. "Should I signal the fleet?" "What fleet?" Zethkar asked weakly. Our backup fleet, sir. The one waiting at the edge of the system." A new voice joined the conversation, older, carrying the weight of absolute authority. "This is Admiral Harrison of the Human Defense Fleet. Commander, your backup fleet surrendered 12 minutes ago. They're currently being escorted to the nearest neutral station where they'll be processed for unlawful invasion of sovereign space." On the tactical display, Zethkar watched in numb shock as his supposedly undetectable reserve force appeared on sensors. Surrounded, disarmed, and being towed away by ships that hadn't even been there moments before. "The flags," Admiral Harrison continued conversationally, "are being removed as we speak. We're keeping them as a souvenir. Earth's children enjoy making art projects out of conquest banners." Through the viewports, Zethkar could see the crimson flags being pulled down across the planet's surface, gathered up by small, almost playful-looking craft that moved with impossible precision. "Commander," Colonel Chen's voice held a note of professional courtesy, "you have exactly 60 seconds to begin moving away from Earth before this becomes a very different kind of conversation." Zethkar looked around his bridge at his crew, all of them staring at sensor readings that defied everything they thought they knew about warfare, about technology, about the balance of power in this galaxy. "Set course for home," he croaked. "Maximum speed." As the Crimson Talon limped away from Earth's orbit, its sensors detected the human ship simply vanishing, not jumping to hyperspace, not moving away, just ceasing to exist on their instruments entirely. The last transmission they received was from Colonel Chen. "Have a nice trip home. Oh, and Commander, next time you want to go vacationing, we recommend the Centauri beaches, much more peaceful." By noon, Earth Standard Time, the hegemony flags had been completely removed. The children of New Tokyo were already using the crimson fabric to make kites,